Acha tuite the next speaker, Mr. Reuben Kimani from Username. Welcome, sir.
It's habari zenu. You can see it's 4:45. Najua watu wamekula. This is a game we like doing. It will take a very short time. So mnajua akili zetu, from morning you have been absorbing a lot of information. I know we are all alert. One of the most difficult things is to speak to CEOs and kila mtu hapa akona stories, ndio? By the way, if you are invited here, you'll give stories and we'll all learn. All of us are like teachers. So it is very difficult to speak to all of you. I know you know many things, but I believe everyone, they have something to share. So very fast, we are going to count 1 to 10. For every odd number, 1, 2, 3, 4. For every odd number, you sit down. For every even number, you stand up. Right? After space. I hope you have enough space. So we are going to do a test run. Kwanza tujue kama mtaweza. Najua mmekula 1 to 10, and I will do very fast. Then tufanye ingine, hiyo itakuwa mixed. Tuone ni nani amelala na ni nani ameamka. So let me repeat the instruction. For every odd number we sit. For every even number you stand. So we are starting with 1. Let me repeat the instruction very fast. For every odd number we sit. For every even number which is 2, 4, 6, 8, we stand. Odd numbers is 1, 3, so you know. 1, 2, 3. I'm checking. Nitaita mtu hapa dance. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nimefanyisha CEO kazi. One last one. This is mixed up. Be very attentive. In mixed up. Odd number you sit, even number you stand. 3. We sit. 5, 7, 2, 3, 7, 6, 8, 5, 10. Simameni hapo. I believe you are alert now. We may sit. Thank you for allowing me to disturb very senior people in this country. Someone told me out there, if you are to bomb this place, let me use, you will like decimate a big part of the economy in Kenya, which is very true, right? We are big contributors. I would like first to thank all of you for coming and for agreeing. I was also invited at some point the first time and said, where did they want? Because for the last 10 years, there are such initiatives that have been trying. They flopped fair and square. So I was wondering, where did they want to be part of this? But the momentum we have picked, this is the first ever time to have such a number. And I would like to thank the officials led by the chair, Mr. Kenywa, the coordinator there. Some of these are my friends for a long time, not because of the estate. Dominic, the vice chair, I met him. The treasurer, Mr. Martin, met him the other day. And these other guys who have been in the sector for some time. We have met here and there. hii sekta ukiwa hapa lazima mkutane mahali kwa shida. Either kwa shida, I'm neighbors with quite a number of, I have Ashira there. I'm neighbors with Kamau. He brought me a customer in Kisumu. I'm a neighbor with Optivens here in Joska. I'm a neighbor with quite a number of people. We have also met in ward sessions. Tunakutana huko, unasikia wewe sijui you are the what. Those awards keep coming. I think it's one of the agendas in our association. We might have to discuss that. There are many players who give awards. So we keep meeting, and I'm glad now, like Kenyua was saying, I'm happy because kuna kitu nasikia leo after 10 years, then I wonder, why have I never heard about that? Because I've been handling such a problem. Na sijai fikiria kufanya hivyo. So if there's a eureka moment, which you will get when we speak, when we share our experiences, this is a very big advantage for all of us. And I believe as we continue, if we continue sharing like this, tutasoma mambo mingi sana. I remember even in the first year, we wasted so much time doing the first project. It was very small. Almost 1 year on something. If someone had told me that project I would have sold in 1 month. Once we knew that, we moved very fast. So I keep wondering, how many other things don't I know? And that's why we come to these forums. For me, I'm always open. I read so many things. Magazine, books, so many. I listen to people. I'm always flexible. At some point, I realized I don't know everything. And from that point, I usually humble myself to be able to listen to anyone who is speaking. You might pick something, and that is your eureka moment in this business. The other thing that inspired me before I start speaking about my topic is the fact that we have so many companies here who might be less than 5 years old. I was telling guys out here, the life cycle of a real estate company in my own analysis is 5 years. Why? You will do a project in the first year, hakuna mtu anakuitisha title. You are saying that. Maybe in the first few months you do another one, you keep closing. Hakuna mtu anakuitisha title, and you have not maybe done the math. But you can't stay for 5 years ukipea watu stories, ndio? They will come to your office, you'll go down. So if you clock past 5 years, in my own experience, wewe umejaribu sana. You have fought title deeds problems, vendor problems, boundary disputes, kuibiwa, hizo vitu zote umepitia. And I was saying, if you are here and you don't have a problem, maybe your company is 2 weeks old. Bado. Not to say you should not go ahead, and that's why we are here, so that you know how to handle these problems. We are neighbor with my friend there, Mr. Getao from Olive. I think I'm neighbors with so many people all over in some projects, and I'm happy he is here also, because we are not necessarily competitive. He was able to sell his project. He found us in Gong. I'm also able to sell mine. And like AMG was saying there, for us, let me tell you, our business engages us 150%. Mimi sina time ya kufikiria juu ya maono. I'll be as blunt as that. I don't have time to check Optiven page. I don't have that time to check Olive page. Ama dhahabu. No. Maybe there pengine hata sijai, like, of course we get reports from our marketing teams, what is happening in the sector. Because hata saa hii nikitoka hapa, I have another engagement at 10 p.m. I have an interview at 10 p.m. na miss. So I have to go. Kesho, I have a certain personal matter I have to handle. On Thursday, kuna kitu ingine. On Friday, unakubushwa project yenye mlikuwa mnafanya, imeisha. Sasa lazima utafute zingine. 150%. So I don't have time to kukata billboard yako. And that is the status of our sector. So much of that. Glad to be here. Reuben Kimani is my name. CEO, co-founder, Username Investment Limited. I was asked to speak about partnerships. How do they work? These are business partnerships. Not necessarily in real estate, but my experience is drawn mainly from real estate. Do you know why all of us wanted to have an association? Why? See, kila mtu maono. We have Wilstone there. We have Grandico there. We have, kila mtu akona biashara yake. But why the need to come all of us? Because there is strength in unity. This strength, Safaricom say, big or good things happen when people come together. Because on your own, you may realize, even the most, the companies that have been in the sector for long, hata hao wakiwa peke yako, or if you don't form this association, they'll also at some point not be able to be in business. That's why partnerships are important. Today I'd like to share, number one, to share the story of Username, very in summary, because my time is not a lot. Number two, based on that experience, I would like to share what I think. I would not want to say this is how things should be done. I'm just sharing my experience, what we believe has worked for us. We are 3 directors. We have Joseph Gitonga and Julius Karanja. I believe some of them are known to some of you. We work together. We are more or less equal partners in business. We have been doing this for the last 10 years. Actively for the last, from 2016, that is like 7 or so years. So what has worked for us and what is the history of Username? Very fast, we registered the business in 2010 as a side hustle. We were employed, all of us. But purely, we come from engineering and computer background, purely. So kila mtu alikuwa anafanya za tukakutana mahali tukasema, sasa unajua, if you go as Reuben, no one listens to you. But if you go as a company, someone thinks, behind a company, ujua how big it is. You don't know the scale. That's how we used to do websites, nini, so very small jobs. But then, out of interest, we felt that we were so much into real estate. You see, after ukifika hiyo age na karibia 30, I think you start understanding the things you want to do in this life, right? Sasa babako alikulipia sijui ufanye psychology. Ama ufanye some even theology. But when you get at some point, you realize there are things I want to do for myself. One of the things you are interested in entrepreneurship. Sana, my initial desire, Suraya used to be one of the big mentors. I used to follow everyone from Optiven here, anyone who was there that time. And I was really inspired. I really wanted to do what they were doing, but more so in the construction sector. But construction, we realized that was so difficult because of the sheer amount of capital required. And that's how we got into land. We felt, I think land is an easier entry to fanye kidogo, then we go to where we wanted. Apparently, we have been friends for so long, maybe for, say, 20 years, because we met in college. That's how we know each other. I'm going to cover and maybe share some of the aspects I believe are important in our friendship, because kampuni zingine hapa zimeanguka kwa sababu ya partnerships, ndio. But there are aspects that are very good in partnership. I would say 80%, but there's a 20% where partnership can be the cause of trouble. But remember, we are here because as a company alone, you cannot be able to do it. But as an association, there are things we can do. Sindio? That is what the power of partnership. And I'm strongly believe, if I was alone in the company, kuna vitu zingekuwa nimefanya. Na kama ningefanya, it is at a cost. It is always a cost to something. Right now I'm here. See, watu wako tu kwa ofisi. Things are still going on and stuff like that. For those who are young in business, maybe they had to sacrifice today. Vitu haziendelei for them to be able to come here. I mentioned a few companies. I don't know where Mudhe has gone. I forgot to mention him. And my friend Michael from Premier Reality, I think he has also left. They have been there in the business for long. These are my seniors. These are people who have been looking forward up to. Naona mtu nafanya. Then you get inspired and say, hata me for the next 10 years, I'll also be able to survive. So I wanted to mention Mawega and Wamen, I think what. But anyway, I get inspired by them. There are also other people who MG, I think, is 2 or 3 years in terms of age. We have Akina Dhahabu there. I did not know he started in 2017. He inspired us to go to Matu. I had refused. Then I said, hey, Kamau is doing a good job. If he's able to do that, maybe we can find our own, because we have our own customers. There are so many things I would like to share, but let me go back to the topic so that I don't lose focus. So I was sharing our story, 2010, 2013, we felt we wanted to do entrepreneurship. Personally, I was so interested in real estate, so we decided to shift focus. So tukaanza na project ka kwanza. Remember, we are all employed. In 2013, we did one project, very small. In 2014, another project, very small. In 2015, another project, very small. In 2015, December, tulikuja Naivasha. It was a seminar in Nashipai. There was a big conference for business people. One of the speakers is called Michael Masharia. So he was talking about scaling up businesses. And this is something I'm passionate about. You don't want to run a kiosk when other people are running big. The difference between them and you is your mindset, because you can get those resources. So he was talking about how many small companies we have in Kenya, yet we have very few corporates. The difference between Naivas and the kiosk next to you is scale. Hakuna kitu ingine, is the size. So he did inspire us, and we felt we can't keep doing business the same way. And of course, we had spoken for so long. These are people I know for so many years. Unajua mtu akiwa na kiatu moja. And by the way, I also used to be a cobbler, by the way. That was my business, first business in class 6. Kwa hivyo hauko peke yako. Hauko peke yako, niko nashona viatu. So we knew each other. So we had talked. So in 2014, Joseph resigned. In 2015, I resigned. Julius left in 2016. Apparently, by God's grace, this was not by design. We were friends. Julius was my classmate in college. We used to do computers. Joseph was not my classmate. We met in Christian circles. He was in Kenyatta University. So tulikuwa na Joanna, and he also comes from Laikipia. We met, and even before we talked about business. So by the time we were setting to start business, sio ile ya kujifanya. You know this guy is interested in business. You know his character. You know everything about him, unless he changes now. So we were comfortable with each other. So we discussed, we had so many meetings about what we want to do. And I will be sharing some of the lesson I think you can also, because there are people here who have asked me about our history, and I believe I can share this. There are people who are here, and there are questions we can ask ourselves. Maybe for you to succeed better, you need a partner or partners. Do you know 10% of 10 billion is better than 100% of 100,000, right? Sasa kuna watu wamejishikilia hapa, nasema hii kitu ni young, but I know some businesses here are partnerships between siblings. Some of them are already partnership. One director is here. There are people who really want to do things by themselves. But if you look at the history of the world, the companies that, who knows the owners of Coca-Cola? Maybe you Google the founder. But the owners are, who knows the owners of Vodafone? Haujui? I think we need to really move to that level. Even as, because most of us are in that medium-sized space. We really need to move. And I feel partnership has a part to play. Ukiwa peke yako, and I really wanted us to do an exercise very fast. Nitaenda I hope I don't forget aspect of my story. Very fast. We can list 10 problems in the real estate sector. 10, the major ones. Very fast. Tuanze na special rapporteur. Sema tu hata usiwapatie mic.
Process of the title.
Processing of title, number 1. Survey. Fraud, that is big. 3. Lack of capital, another person. Yes? Disputes, they are very big. I have one this week I have to attend to. There's a lady there. High cost of borrowing, I think they were highlighted number 6. You don't know how to sell. Kuna mtu amenipigia simu juzi, wakasema real estate kuna pesa. Unaona username. Niliona dhahabu. And then they went, bought land, processed the titles. He had 24 titles. Sasa akaniambia, Reuben, niko na 24 titles. Nimepigia watu, hata hakuna mtu mmoja ashaikuja site. Kwani mnauzaga aje? That is a big problem, and there are people who don't know you need a brand, you need to take long, you need a company to be able to sell. Number 7. Infrastructure, you have to do validations. Number 8. Unethical competition. Number 9. Poor financial. I think the Abu has covered, the last thing he covered was budget. You have to do your month. And lastly, natural calamities. Kama COVID. COVID actually killed quite a number of companies. Why am I doing this? Those are 10 problems amongst so many. Na sasa wewe ni founder, unajua mtu anakuwa, you have that motivational, uko na hiyo nini, you feel that hit, you feel that thing where you want to change this world, you want to do something big. Nasema kama Optiven wamefanya EMG, I can do it. But there are those things that you must do on the ground. Those are 10 problems among so many, na uko peke yako. And do you know you can get 3 big problems in 1 year? Title hazijatoka. Mwenye shamba mwenye ulinunua ameanza shida na project haiuzi. Alafu kikaakaa unasikia ile shamba uliuza last year iko na title 2. Ukikaakaa you are subbed. Ana uko peke yako. Do you know you can buy an air ticket and disappear? This is not a joke. So partnership, I believe, comes in a big way. In 2016, after going for that seminar, we were very motivated, by the way. We felt we needed to multiply everything by 10. Tulikuwa na office, tulikuwa nalipa 27,000. Veteran house, 8th floor. I still remember. But in 2016, in 2017, we went to an office where we were paying 250,000. Nakumbuka tulienda tulikuwa nakaa hapo katikati, because we decided we are going to do projects 10 times in terms of revenue, 10 times in terms of the employees. We employed quite a number in a short period of time. We had done our math. So everything we were selling ilikuwa inaenda huko. We fundraised, we got capital from friends and stuff like that. Na hapo ndio mwizi alikuja. That was one of our first project. 5 million. It was a lot of money for us, because hiyo ni pesa ulikuwa umegather kila mahali. You have cleaned up all your accounts. That was the baptism by fire. At least you are 3 people. I thank God. Sabu tulipigwa simu kitu 5. Unapigwa na somebody from the lands office. They don't tell you immediately what has happened, but it hits you. Kutoka hapo that day I never spoke to anyone, because I knew na nilikuwa nimetoka job after that was 1 year of hustling. I knew things have gone south. Hii kitu imeisha. But one of the things I know really have worked, because you meet, we are different. Our personalities are not the same. Utakutana na mtu tunaulizana sasa. That thing gives you some level of mental and emotional comfort. So for me, partnership, 80% is something good. Let me share, as I share my story, let me share other things that you need to think about. Because like I said, you have to evaluate your situation. Partnerships is like marriage. I think that's the easiest way to describe this. Most of us have families. Najua tumeoa na tumeolewa. The way you got your spouse and you have experience in marriage, you can actually be able to tell people some few things here and there. based on your view and your experience. Partnership is like marriage. Mtakosana, mtapendana, and you have to sort your own personal issues the same way you date. And I think the first thing is dating. I think someone already wanted to know how they can get a partner. And another question, maybe some of the company, and maybe God intended us to come and meet here. Maybe some of our companies need to merge. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe your way to success. Maybe you go withdraw money. I would also tell you, we run our company professionally. We decided, I've worked in corporate myself. I decided long time ago, I don't want kienyeji business at all costs. So I'm an employee myself. Pesa kampuni, kwanza mkiwa partners, hiyo ni kitu moja mtaaguka haraka sana. We decided pesa kampuni ni ya kampuni. We are going to pay you a salary, and it is handsome, and it is rated based on how we do, how our performance is. Kama we are doing well, your salary is okay. If you are doing poorly, iko kidogo. So we agreed long time ago. So it is like a marriage. So maybe you might get a partner here if you are really thinking about the same. And like I said, many big companies in the world are funded by investors. They have shareholders. They have board members. Like Zuckerberg own, I think, is it 25%? 22%. Hiyo ingine ni ya nani? But if you ask someone, 2%. Ukiuliza mtu, Facebook ni ya nani? But they are 98%. Him alone, he could not have done that. There's power in partnership. That is what I'm convinced about. The other thing you have to think about is the reason companies have gone down. One of the things I know this association has to do and is trying to do, and that's why we are here sharing our stories, is because kuna kitu utasikia leo. I wish we had this 10 years ago. Nisikie hiyo maneno yote. I go back and I analyze and I decide, what do I need to do different? Because like I was telling the vice chairman, let me tell you, in my own Mimi, I'll tell you the truth. As it is, I have shared my story many times. Unajua unaogopa ni competition. Like I said, don't remember the last time I checked AMG or pengine Optivent page. No. I'm so engaged in where I'm going. Mi niko na objectives zangu. We know where we are going. Such that ikisikia umefanya kitu nilikuwa nafikia, I'll be excited. But I realize, ukifocus na competition shauri yako. So we are here because we want to mentor. We want to have collaboration. We want to ensure hakuna kampuni itaanguka kwa sababu ya kutojua. Do you know there are companies that have gone down? People, Kenyans will call anyone who goes down a fraud. But their companies have gone down not because of fraud. The owner really meant well. But what he lacked is capacity. He did not know what to do at what time. Kama hiyo kitu you are doing math, and I'll say this publicly. If you don't do your math, you trisoma a long time ago. Wewe utafanya project in the eyes of the world. That project is stellar. It is successful. Watu unasema, I wish I can be like Nyota Njema. Did estate. Wameuza, wanapeana title. Lakini if you are keen to do the math, it is a loss. The reason you don't know it is a loss is because the way you work, si uko na project ingine unauza it covers the sins of the other project. Sasa revenue ya project 2 ndio inatumika in project 1. You understand? Ukienda by the time, that's what I was talking about 5 years life cycle. By the time unafika mahali, that's when you realize yenyewe hii project 1 imekura pesa ya project 2, 3. It is very difficult. So we learned, you must do your math. Kuna shamba tamu tumekataa kuchukua because like Optiven was talking, George was talking about Kiambu County. Hata sisi because you go, I have a formula we use. We have an Excel sheet. Survey costs, legal costs, commissions, office. Niko na hizo vitu zote. I try to be as clear as possible. Ukienda kufanya, then you look at market conditions. I realize I can't sell anything. Ukiuza, nitauza na nimalize. Mimi I believe hakuna project naweza shindwa kuuza. The problem is whether we are making profit or not. I like what the Abu said. You have to decide whether you want to be a shrewd, what did you say? Whether you want to be rich or I really got that. So companies have gone down because of capacity issues, before I lose the point. And that's why we are here. Kuna kitu utasikia, then you start running your business well. And in the next 2 to 3 years, you'll not become a scam. Why? You have been mentored, we have shared information, and you have implemented some of these things. I strongly believe by the end of this session, I'll have picked several eureka moments, some problems I've been facing in my organization, which I can implement right away, and you can do the same. The other thing about most of the business, I'm not talking about real estate only. I've realized being in business is very lonely. Tunajua, like, he has a lot of following, the chairman. Huko watu watakusifu, you get 1,000 likes, comments, and all those things, but there's no one to share those very deep issues with. Kuna vitu hawezi ambia employees, let's be honest. Because you have to project inspiration, you have to project leadership, you have to project confidence. Kama wewe umeweza, wao watafanya nini? So most of our time, maybe the only person you can share with, and even in your friendship circles, most people may not have people to share these things with, because they can't. Sasa unamwambia ulishindwa kulipa mtu 100 million. So how many people can you tell that? Let's be honest. Ati hiyo shamba, I don't say how much you have bought shambas for, because obviously it doesn't inspire, it doesn't help. But ukiwa na hiyo shida, na hiyo shamba ulinunua aje, hata uwezi sema. There are very few people, if you are in your level, who you can openly share your problems with. Most of them are business people like us. So unakufa peke yako. And I believe, like us, we are 3. Our families know each other because we came from college. We travel together. We do so many things together. So we have that family council. It's like a family council of sorts. So there are things we do in that aspect, where now I can say, there's a shamba we bought. You can share many details and what is disturbing you. Kuna mashida zingine, if you go in the village, they used to say, hizo ni mashida za rich people. Na wanakuchekelea, by the way. Those are problems of rich people. So you will find you can be very lonely. And I believe partnerships is something that can come in handy to help you with those. For me, I may not want to be the richest person in Kenya or in the world. I don't think that is my aspiration. No. Maybe I want to be at a position where I'm able to, like this guy who died in the Bahamas. I'm forgetting his name. He had a private jet, died with his wife. He used to say, So he used to say, I want to die empty. For me, that's my policy. You want to give everything you can, do your best, you can get to the top of real estate, any other sector. Of course, there are financial benefits. I also want, for me, I don't believe life is one-faceted. And by the way, we gave 10 problems of real estate. The other 10 problems of marriages. And you are one. We also have 10 problems for children. We also have 10 problems for another part of life. Na uko peke yako. Sasa wewe unaenda hivi. Hata sometimes you get call, unashindwa niangalia. There are times I have gone to the office. You see WhatsApp, email kama 200 at once. Bibi anakupigia pengine. Unakaa, an employee comes to your office to bring an issue which you need to sort. Ukikumbuka, kuna customer title hawajatoka. Unafika. I read somewhere, I saw someone was saying, there's a guy called John. So, at about 10 p.m., John realized, hajafanya homework, hajafanya assignment, he's a student. He has not done his assignment. There are so many things he had not done. Akaangalia list yake, he had like 20 things. Na ni saa 4 za usiku. Sasa unashindwa dinale nifanye. Some of them you need them in the morning. Do you know what he did? He just slept. Unaziangalia hivi, you get confused. You give up and tutaangalia kesho. Most of the single founders, and I will tell this, I think that is the cycle. But I don't want to discourage anyone because there is always a solution. Do you think getting a partner is easy? And that's where I'm going next. Getting a partner is not easy. There are things you need to look at. I'll be putting side of my story here as I finish. I shared my story about where we came from. We knew each other. It's like we had dated each other. Let me use that word. Tulikuwa tunajuana tu. I know this guy, if I leave you with 10 million, hawezi niibia. See, you know, the first thing is integrity. And I think almost all businesses, including ours, we call ourselves a tradition of trust for a reason. We came and thought, what is that today we stand for? Trust is the biggest core value in our organization. Tunasema kila, and for us it's not a slogan. We want to create that trust. So the first thing is integrity. I don't know what parameters you are going to use. Sisi tulikuwa najuana. Because those who have asked me that question, you must get someone with integrity. The kind of business we do, kitaka kutoa mtu viatu, kumnyoosha vizuri, assuming you are partners. The other day the chairman was in Amsterdam. I was following him. Sasa nikasema, imagine you have left a founder, amekuwa kiokota pesa, alafu kirudi unasikia amekuwa kiabia customer waweke kwa account nyingine. Na washaweka 50 million. That is very possible. In the Kenya we are living in. Getting a founder is not easy. I'll also say, you see, I can't tell you that you must prefer partnerships without also saying that it is so difficult to get a partner. I'm glad we got the friends we have. For the last 10 years, I think we have tumekosana, tumefanya vitu mingi to a level where I believe we are at a stabilization point. So there's a way if you can't get a partner. And I'm going to share that as I finish. The other thing that must be there, in my own experience, and this one is something, tulikuwa nakutana ka hoteli fulani hapa Tomboya. I remember that was allowed 2012, 2011. We used to meet so many times. I was really keen to understand where are these guys going. Unajua ukikaa mtu change. And we used to say, when the money comes, that's when the true picture. The same money will expose that character was that was prisoned by poverty. The moment you get money and everything you needed, who to you all comes out, si ndio? Hawezi jificha tena. Sasa unasikia mtu, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a footballer. I had a calling for the people of Southern Asia. There are those people who you can get a calling in between, but somebody must come. So what we did, we really wanted to know that our visions were matching. Hiyo ndio ilinisumbua sana. Unakaa, and of course they must not be the same, but you must have an above average level in terms of matching visions. Do you want to go to the same destination? Are you interested in entrepreneurship the same way? Because entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Ukipigiwa simu, uambiwe sijui kuna title you have lost. We have bought some land twice. It was 30 acres. It was a lot of money. Because I knew losing like 30 million is better than the so many years I have, maybe to make billions. That news, that point is at the point at which you know the true personality of a person. Kuna wengine watasema hii kitu tuachane nayo kabisa. And that's where vision comes in. I think you must have matching visions. Number one is character. And these things must be together, in my own opinion. Sio moja na hauna ingine. There are very many good people in the country. But does it mean they are entrepreneurs? Of course not. They are not. So you must have this in my own. So do you want the same things in life? The last thing, because there are so many, I just chose 3 which I felt are clearly important. is value system. It is tied to integrity, but what do you know? There are people, their value system is about family. There are people who are very spiritual to a point where they can decide, and it is not wrong. The point is to understand why is this person, what is this person value system. There are people who value family. There are people who cannot lie to you. Hata umpatie pesa ngapi. This is basically what matters in your life. Value system will tell you people you can be able to do business in. There are people who believe in shortcuts. And maybe they are right. Maybe they want to be shrewd. Sasa mkienda kukutana, those are the people who will tell you. You see, us, we are very keen about title process. I like registry where they insist you must do everything because that's what you want. Tunasema tutakulipa. See that facilitation fee the lawyers pay. We are willing to pay, but you must follow every step of the process. But what happens when you have someone who likes shortcuts? Ataona wewe haupendi biashara. Like the way Kamau was saying, and even Getao, for you to make money, you have to be very patient. Very, very patient. So kama uko na mtu wa shortcut, I think you'll be in trouble. You need to understand how somebody operates. There are people who are shrewd and stuff like that. There's another thing I wanted to add is about personality. I've done a course in Strathmore. Maybe you can consider it's called Owner Manager Program for business owners like all of us. It tells you how exactly you can move from being an owner manager. You see, running the operation. Sasa unasikia Kenya ni yeye ana manage petty cash. You see, you feel very powerful managing petty cash. You are doing everything in your organization so that you can become a corporate business owner. Do you know the owner of Nairobi Hospital? But you know the CEO, right? So you can move from a point where you can be able to plant so many companies. Your work is an entrepreneur. You are not a manager as per se. They try to change that mindset and tell you what you can be able to do. So one of the things we did was personality. And I realized all of us mean well, but our personalities are different. Even when we go to negotiate, as a policy in the company, we must be there, the three of us. It's also part of inculcating culture. Unaweza sema huyu mtu amelipwa, and some deals are very expensive. But not necessarily that is because we go there because we realize if I negotiate alone, and by the way, if you are alone as a founder, people use lawyers. You might need a right-hand man or a lawyer to be able to negotiate. We go the three of us. And it works so well because there are times when you need the person who can close faster. Hatuko the same. But the other people who really are very analytical. Lazima angalie kila kitu all the way to the end. So I did that course and realized all these were strengths which you can use in different places. Huyu ni analytical. They group you according to color. They are called personality villages. Kuna watu wako very analytical. There are people who ni wale wanakaa kichwa ngumu. They make decisions very attack story mob. So if you go to them in a negotiation, what will happen? They want to close very fast and attack you push. And it is their personality. The other people who are very friendly, they can actually compromise because the relationships are more important to them. I'm sharing these things because they affect the kind of founder you get. It is very dangerous if you have three founders who are the same personality. Kuna side moja mta succeed. Like one company you are beginning, it's called Red. These are people who decide very fast. They don't like many stories. Relationship is, the end justifies the mean. So this guy used to fire employees. Kireta upuzi, go home. He fired so many people until he got help. You can't keep firing people because umekasirika. It's being egoistic or I'm trying to look for the right word. Egoistic, yes? So even personality is important. And you may not be able to share the whole science, but these things are things you can do research on. Kama you're Red, you need another person who is analytical. And when I looked back, it's by God because all of us are different. When we started, we did not have an accountant. One of us was extremely good. We used what we call Google Sheets. They used to be free and they are very powerful. Sasa hage miss hata detail. Mi ukiniambia nifanye hiyo kitu. I'll be in a lot of trouble. One of us came from a customer care. They had a lot of experience. Worked in Safaricom we used to work with them. Another person did mortgage for more than 5 years. Personally, I like anything to do with strategy. So when we came together, kila mtu alikuwa, I'm the one who used to do business, those business cases and business plans. I really insisted because I want to know, kabla tuanze hii biashara kuna pesa. Mimi siwezi uza shamba kama nijue kama kuna profit. Up to the net. Of course, is approximate. Tunajua how long this project might take to advertise. Of course, there are projects which, kama venye alikuwa anasema, there's a project I did in Kagudo Road, ilinisumbua sana. Kila mtu akona ka project, you wish if you went back in time, hiyo kitu haugenunua. I even reached a point when I wondered, maybe I think it is better to break this agreement, so that, because I bought 20 acres, niuze 10, hiyo anipige hiyo 10%. Then I reduced my losses because it was not moving. And of course, we realized why it was not moving. Right now, it's sold out. And some other places I'm not going to mention. So personality is important. The other thing I want to share very fast is the problems. And of course, these are coming with experiences. Have you considered partnership? Maybe you would be better. Unajua ni kuwe. It is for you to decide. There are demerits. And number one, I think we did this in primary school. Decision making ni ngumu sana. Even when Kenyua tell us, tume 200,000. Kenyua will send very fast. But I can't. Because we learned early enough. Even those very small things, of course, we already have a partnership agreement. We know, initially we share the departments. I used to do human resource technology because I did technology and projects. Joseph and still does sales and marketing. Julius do finance and customer experience. They are quite good in it. So, especially those shared decisions, we have tried to list as many as possible. By the way, we document a lot. We have tried to list them. Kama you are making this decision, you have to consult. Najua unaweza jifanya unaamka, sema mimi ni CEO wa username. Sasa I can make any decision. Apparently, I can't. I have to consult, but we do it very fast. We are not bureaucratic. Natuma na WhatsApp, mtu anasema ako sawa. There are those you can make, those you can't. So you must be willing to be very patient. You get into partnership. Remember, ni kama marriage. The other thing ni money management. Hii ni ngumu sana. Number one, and I'll share this. Money management is not a joke. And that's why we decided, this is part of professionalism, we decided as a rule, tutanjiripa mshahara. And this is what we do. You can implement it in your company. You can check whether it makes sense. Maybe you already have a better formula. We have a basic salaries. Unataka kuchukua loan. Even my car, when I bought it the first time, took a loan from a bank. Because you don't want to deal with the affairs of drawing money from the car. It looks foolish in the beginning, but it solves a lot of problems. So I pay myself a salary. Then another aspect of my salary is the commissions. And it is based on revenue. And there is a minimum we must do as revenue for us to earn commission as directors. That's how we work. So ukitaka pesa mingi, initially it was very small. But when we started doing well, it was a lot of money. You can do as many things as you want. If you want to draw money, there are rules. And of course, you know, KRA, taxes, many things. Actually, you don't want to draw money. If you are running, they have come to us. Kama hawajakutembelea, I think you are still less than 5 years old. Ukianza kuonekana pale migunda niguthire thiraga pale Inoro na top care my friends there, very soon they will come to you because people imagine people who are advertising have money na andu migunda mebia. So money management, and this boils down to integrity. If I leave today, I've been away for the last 2 weeks outside the country. Of course, hata niliacha kila kitu. I was not doing anything. I don't care about the money. But because I know And then somebody changes. You know someone, kuna mtu hawezi chukua pesa yako. So I know everything is safe because they deal with so much money. Sasa tukasema, there are those things. There is integrity, there is the issue of structuring your business, and I will tell you this, I learned this in corporate. You must structure your business. You must have policies. Watu wanafika sanga, ukifanya hivi, you'll get fired. You must start early enough. If you don't do that, what you are doing, you will stay small for a very long time. Usikia Waihora after 10 years, mefika corporate, you pray to God you get there, but you refuse to structure you. There's no way. And that's why you came here. Because with structure, unaachia manager up to the point. They don't need to call me. There are so many things that we have automated. You need to do these things. The other thing is different personality. I think I have explained that. That one, until we did that training, I used to think somebody didn't want to delay the project. Nilikuwa nafikia ni yeye anataka kudelay hii project. Na unasikia vibaya, then you wonder, am I having the right partner leading? And of course, after some time, we have learned each other. Then I realized, and I think training is very important. There are so many things, if you are to know today, you even change the way you see the chairman. Because you start understanding why he behaves the way he does. And I think there is even online personality things. There are people who might have done psychology here. Personality tests. You can do it as a person to understand why you behave the way you do. And also to be aware some of the setbacks you will, some of those disadvantages that you might have, especially if you are doing business. Kuna deals zitakuponyoka because of your personality. Nasema mimi mtu, let me tell you. Kwanza kwa hii sector, I was telling George here, hii sector, you become a businessman, you are a surveyor. Lazima, the way Kamau was saying, you need to understand industry. You are a lawyer. Mimi si, okay, we have so many lawyers and surveyors, but I have to understand the basics personally. Kwa sababu kuna time naenda kwa dispute, then I realize my presence there, you are the person solving the problem. You're not a professional. You start using common sense, right? Because you understand. So unakuwa hata psychologist. Kuna kwanza wa Masai, deep, especially in those places where they are locals. That's your Masai peke yake. Do you know you have to go to their level for you to be able to solve those problems? Ukienda na ugumu wako, tutatafuta lawyer. Hata pengine wengine wakuja na polisi. Let me tell you, you will not solve those problems. Lazima kwingine, I solved one of the problems and I was sharing with Washira. He was dealing with the same guy. That guy was killed in a shamba somewhere. He used to be a mzee who was very difficult. Do you know he stayed for 6 months? Tulikuwa tunaenda hata Sunday kumpepereza na niye ako kwa shida, and we know. But because you realize if you use a hammer or a gun, that problem will blow up. Who will suffer? Customer wanataka kujua. Sasa unajifanya mjinga. Saa zingine unaongea Kiswahili kingine very broken. We become everything. This is the kind of sector that we have. So there are those personality things I was sharing about. You need to consider that. Those are problems. Their last problem is growing into other futures. Like I said, you have to realize somebody after 5 years can decide to be a priest. Somebody after 5 years can decide to pursue something else. So what we did, we had a partnership agreement. You must have. Hata kama mtu ni rafiki yako namna gani. Even when you get married, you have to sign. Mnapendana namna gani, si ndio? Hata kama wewe ni rafiki namna gani, do your documentation. This one I will tell you without blinking. Sisemi tumekosana, but we did ours. What it does, it makes someone start thinking about the weight of the engagement they are getting into. Naambiwa hakuna kutoa pesa. Then we said for the first 5 years, you can't leave the business. Unless under very mysterious circumstances, you cannot start another business. Hata kama ni M-Pesa, nini. We said we want to give our all. I don't want to, as Reuben, silali usiku nikitengeneza username, na mtu mwingine anaokota pesa, anaenda anafanya. Nini, your engagement should also be your whole person. So we understood each other for the first 5 years. Then after that, we said we will be able to discuss. And I believe by doing so, because we had so many meetings, what we did in our mindset is to tell you that you must be committed. And that's how we resigned, all of us. Resigning was also a show of commitment. Unaacha, I left a job, was a 5-figure salary. And I realized that is not where my future is. The other guy left, and then we came together. Of course, we have weathered many storms. Lastly, you need a partnership agreement. The last thing I want to share is that I know we do agreements. They are not standard, but most of us, what we tell customers, though we don't tell them, mtu sign, akileta shida deal, you notice kuna vitu kusoma. But we try to sensitize them, because mimi I believe, nikwambia ukweli bado utanunua. We try to forestall problems. So the exit clauses, we usually tell you 10% of the purchase. But there's a time I bought an apartment somewhere, small one. Then huyu muhindi haku anapata titles. Nikakasika nikamwambia I can help you. But he was tied by the lawyer. What Wahindi do? They use their own people. And they are so slow. Hawana connection, hawana nini. Nikamwambia I want out. Sikuwa nimefikiria. That's when I saw 10% of the purchase price. Then I realized, of all the monies I had paid, nitarudishiwa pesa inarudishwa na M-Pesa. Unajua hapo ndio unajiita mkutano. Unaona hapa unatulia kwanza. So I did not get out of the clause. That's how our agreements are. So for partnership agreements, I think this is like a marriage. Hiyo train ikitoka, you can't board a train from train inaenda mbali na unataka kutokea hapo next. You board a train in Syokimau na unataka kutokea hapo next. No, hii train ni express. That's how partnerships are. So the exit clause must be very tough. And the way we said, if you leave the business cannot go down. Where ndio utaumia sio biashara. So your take home is less. And you sign. Initially when you are together, when you start, people will sign these things. Sindio? When you are happy, excited, inspired, you want to change the world, you want to get rich, you want to get wealthy and stuff like that. But when things become big, that unaanza ku explore options, you can't make a partnership agreement mkiwa huko katikati. Anza mapema, mkubaliane, but the work of partnership agreement is not because you leave each other. It is to tell someone the weight of the decision they are making, and also to give them parameters, specific parameters that they must follow. Unajua mapema, this is the life. Like when we started, we used to pay ourselves very little amounts. Sasa ni pesa, na ujui kama hii kitu itafanya kazi. But it worked, and we thank God. I think I'm more or less done. What I wanted to say, and I finished my presentation, is because once I share that, kuna watu wanataka kuwa na partnerships. I know Top Care, they are also 3 guys. Mahiga Homes, I think so. I think even Almond, if I'm not wrong. There are quite a number of us here, and you can share these stories, your experiences. But one thing I can tell you, you'd rather stay alone rather than have the wrong partner. Kwanza pesa. I usually see the amount we pay people, and then I say, you can't be able to follow all those things. We have systems. Unapatiawa hizo reports. Maybe I know the ones I look most. The figures where I want to know whether the business is going on. And like I said, I can't do any project before I do the math. Every month tuko na management report. Kuna vitu naangalia na the way they present books in account, there's a way they present books, but there's the real situation. You need to understand those books, and that's one of the trainings that you must do as a founder. You must understand what the books mean. Those 2 figures, so that you know, company, there are times we know in the next 3 months, if we don't do something, we'll have a problem. Sasa tunaanza mapema. I was talking about money. You mother be alone rather than have the wrong partner. And I believe for marriages is the same. You are either inside or outside. Hakukuwa hapo katikati. You either have the right partner as a marriage partner, or you don't have it. You are single. That's how partnerships work. So you must be very careful. The way to navigate this situation, if you can't get a founder, you must have right-hand man. And I believe those people who are founders and they don't have co-founders, they must have a right hand man. And that's why I was talking about a lawyer. Kuna watu wako na lawyer, ukienda negotiation unaenda na yeye. Sio negotiation peke yake. The other people who have I have very good employees also. I think what AMG was sharing also, we also have, I think we have 25 salespeople. The same concept. They have very big targets. People earn millions of shillings. The salespeople. And I am happy that way because huyo mtu ataweza kufanya vitu zake. I really like also what they are doing. I did not know they were doing that. Kila mtu ako na strategy yake. I've seen another company with a lot of revenue. They had more than 100 salespeople. That is their own strategy. It is working. So you have to choose yours. So you must have a right-hand man. And I know those companies that are standing. And they have one founder. You must have a very good human resource. Lazima ukue na mtu. Sio human resource. Whether it's general mtu. Anakaa founder lakini employee. And by there you can keep filtering. And you have a strong team. You don't necessarily have to have a founder, by the way. But a founder is better because that person hata akilala usiku. There are things that stresses me that can't stress an employee. Kuna kitu unajua hiyo project kakileta shida nitaanguka nichukue miguu juu. We have those moments, all of us. Unafanya hii project unasema huyu Vena akiweza leta shida, username is done. And if ukiona kasign kabaya, like if you go do a search and you start seeing some funny things and you have bought, those information that you receive, unakuwa stressed, hata mood ina change. Because these things means a lot to you. That thing cannot stress an employee. So you need a very strong team. There's always a way that can compensate for lack of a founder. The last thing you must scale up as, of course, traditionally, I also don't believe you can do something overnight. And if you're able to do that, you must have done a lot of background research. When a tradition, so that you create structures, you create systems, you create a team that can be able to withstand the growth that you require, the visions that you so much hamper over a long period of time. So there is always a way if you are alone. But for me, 80%, I would always go for a founder. But a founder who has those three things. They have integrity, our visions are matching, and the last thing, our value system is the same. We value the same things. Sio Kenywa hapa, Kenywa is I think a pastor or something. Sio lazima ukue na pastor. Value system I don't think is about spirituality as such. It's the things that matter to your life. So ukiwa na hizo vitu tatu, mimi I'll admit we are a pastor. And as we interact here, you'll be very surprised. You can find those people. Somebody who is also have been looking, where you find due diligence yako, you date right as long as you can, then one day you can merge and do better things and bigger things. And by doing so, most of us will avoid scams in this sector. So I think I'm done. Let me see whether I've left anything because I don't think the chairman will give me any more time. The other things that have been shared, and I felt strongly I also have to say them. I think as an organization, as we try to avoid scams, do trainings, mentorships, I think we also need, this is something that I really believe in the sector. We also need to inculcate professionalism. Ndio wale watu wanakaa tunaba unaandika na chalk ama na makaa mahali. Those, anytime I tell someone I left Safaricom to do land, broker, you became a broker. That's the image they have. I think we have a lot of work to do to professionalize this sector. Be as professional as you can. And for me, that's why I can advertise to the top of the roof. Because hata KRA akikuja, my books zimefanywa the way it's I believe I can still make wealth by doing the right things. That is my belief. And even do better and do it for a much longer time. You just need to understand. We have done tax education. There are things you can do and make more money than somebody who is evading tax. And finally, we also need to increase our capacity as much as possible. If you can't find a founder, find a great team. Increase capacity. Kwa sababu watu wengine hapa tutaanguka kwa sababu ya capacity. I also believe those who started the other day, you are getting as much as possible, and you'll be able to get more than 5 years. Na mtu akifikisha 5 years, I think they need, like YouTube does. they need to get a 5 years certificate. Ndio. I think those things are necessary because where we may graduate. I think 10 years is another level. Those who have done 20 years clearly, I think more or less, they might not go down. And they are inspiring us. I hope I shared everything I can. It might not be what you must do. It might not be the correct way of doing things. Those are our experiences for your consideration, for your research. God bless you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Tumpigie makofi mazuri.